Welcome to Grand Prix, your go-to channel for the fastest updates in Formula One. We've got 3 hot stories for you, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay ahead of the pack. Let's get started. The Formula One world started the day with plenty of action, and to stay updated on everything happening this season, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss any key developments leading up to what promises to be an exciting year. But before we dive into the latest news, let me know your thoughts. Do you think Lewis Hamilton has a real shot at outperforming Charles Leclerc in 2025? Or will this season be more about adaptation for him? After carrying out several test sessions in recent weeks, including one that ended with a crash, Lewis Hamilton is back on track this Tuesday. As planned, he and his new team, Ferrari, are participating in Pirelli's official tire tests, gathering crucial data for the 2026 Formula One season. These tests are essential for evaluating the new tire compounds and characteristics, which will be introduced as part of the future regulations. For these sessions, Ferrari brought last year's SF24 to the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya in Spain, following a strict testing program dictated entirely by Pirelli. Unlike private team tests, Ferrari has no control over the parameters of these sessions and must adhere precisely to Pirelli's instructions. Additionally, the SF24 had to be modified to better simulate the 2026 technical regulations, including adjustments for reduced aerodynamic downforce, altered suspension settings, and narrower tires. Ferrari is not alone on track, as McLaren is also conducting similar tire tests. Meanwhile, Alpine is running its own separate program, though using an older car. However, no data or findings from Ferrari and McLaren's runs are shared with other teams, or even between the two participating squads, ensuring that no competitive advantage is gained ahead of time regarding tire behavior under the new conditions. Despite these restrictions, Hamilton is using this opportunity to familiarize himself further with his new car and team, making this track time a valuable step in his adaptation process. Every lap he completes now helps him gain confidence ahead of the official pre-season testing scheduled for later this month. Even though Ferrari is bound by Pirelli's testing agenda, these sessions serve as an important learning phase for the 7-time world champion as he settles into his new environment. Charles Leclerc is also at the Barcelona circuit, but is running a different program. Unlike Hamilton, he is driving Ferrari's 2023 car and is not part of the Pirelli tests. Instead, he is making up for lost track time caused by Hamilton's crash last week, which had prevented him from completing his scheduled running due to damage to the car. Both Ferrari drivers will return to the track on Wednesday for another day of running in Barcelona. While the conditions may not be ideal for free experimentation, every lap counts as the team gears up for what will be a crucial 2025 campaign. Hamilton's goal is clear: to integrate as quickly as possible, while Leclerc looks to assert his position within the team. With testing in full swing and the new season just around the corner, Ferrari is looking to extract every bit of performance and understanding from these sessions. How do you think Hamilton will fare in his first year with the Scuderia? Will he quickly adapt and challenge for victories, or will it take time before he finds his rhythm in red? Let me know your thoughts. Last week, the FIA announced some significant changes regarding the regulation of front wings, set to take effect starting from the Spanish Grand Prix. One of the technical directives will be updated, introducing new tests and stricter limitations. The allowed flexibility in front wings, which sparked controversy throughout 2024, will be reduced by approximately 33%. The FIA's goal with this mid-season adjustment, despite being in the final stretch of the current regulations, is to ensure a level playing field across the grid. However, this decision has already caused a stir behind the scenes. According to Auto Racer, several engineers are concerned that these modifications could lead to the return of porpoising, a major issue that teams struggled with in 2022. The FIA's new testing methods will force teams to revert to much earlier front wing designs, versions that had a negative impact on aerodynamic efficiency and often caused cars to bounce aggressively, especially on long straights. One of the primary concerns among engineers is that the only practical solution to counteract the potential return of porpoising is to raise the ride height of the cars. However, this adjustment comes with a significant performance loss, which could be particularly problematic for smaller teams. Unlike the top competitors, these teams have fewer technical resources and limited aerodynamic expertise to compensate for the lost downforce in other ways. Instead of equalizing competition, This regulation change might widen the performance gap, making it even harder for midfield and lower-end teams to compete effectively. The current generation of ground-effect cars relies on a delicate balance of aerodynamic stability. Slightly more flexible front wings have helped teams fine-tune their setups, ensuring that cars remain more stable at high speeds while mitigating porpoising. By limiting this flexibility, the FIA may inadvertently reintroduce handling difficulties that had been largely solved through progressive developments. Many within the paddock fear that instead of improving the sport, this change could set Formula One back, creating a season filled with instability and unpredictable performance shifts. The real consequences of this directive remain to be seen, but one thing is certain: it will generate significant discussion as teams begin to adapt. There is also the possibility that, depending on how the changes impact racing, the FIA might modify or reconsider the regulation mid-season. In the meantime, teams are already working tirelessly in their wind tunnels and simulators to minimize the potential negative effects of these new restrictions. Engineers are expected to explore alternative solutions, such as subtle adjustments in floor design and suspension settings, to recover some of the lost aerodynamic efficiency. However, these workarounds could take time to implement, meaning some teams might suffer more than others in the early stages of the new directive. Ultimately, the question remains whether this regulatory change will truly enhance the competitiveness of Formula One, or if it will create new problems that could compromise the quality of racing. If the concerns of engineers turn out to be justified, we might witness another season where unexpected technical setbacks play a decisive role in determining the pecking order. What do you think? Given the risk of bringing back porpoising, a problem that made the early phase of this regulation cycle incredibly challenging, is the FIA right in pushing for stricter front-wing flexibility limits? Or could this decision backfire and create a more unbalanced and unpredictable Formula One season? With the 2025 Formula One season fast approaching, Alpine has become a focal point of speculation, particularly regarding its driver lineup. While the team officially announced Pierre Gasly and Jack Doohan as their primary drivers, recent developments suggest that Doohan's seat may not be as secure as it once seemed. Alpine's consultant, Flavio Briatore, has reportedly set his sights on Franco Colapinto, an Argentine driver previously affiliated with Williams. Colapinto was signed as a reserve driver, but Briatore has made it clear that he wants him on the grid as soon as possible, potentially at Doohan's expense. Some reports suggest that Doohan's performance in recent tests has been underwhelming, fueling rumors that the team may replace him sooner rather than later. Adding to the intrigue, it has emerged that Doohan's contract initially covers just the first 5 races of the season. After that, Alpine has the option to either extend his tenure for the remainder of the season or bring in a replacement. Understanding the precariousness of Doohan's situation, Colapinto has spoken openly about his goals for the year. While he emphasized his focus on Alpine simulator work and car development for both 2025 and 2026, he also made it clear that he is preparing himself intensely in case he is called upon to race at any moment. His message is straightforward: he is ready to take over as a full-time Alpine driver if given the opportunity. Interestingly, Alpine has been actively promoting Colapinto's training sessions on their social media platforms, while Doohan has received significantly less attention. This disparity has led some experts to believe that Alpine may already be setting the stage for a change, potentially announcing Colapinto as a full-time driver before the season even begins. While this scenario may seem unlikely under normal circumstances, Briatore's involvement makes anything possible. The situation raises an important question. Should Alpine honor their commitment to Doohan and give him a fair shot at proving himself? Or would it be wiser to immediately place their trust in Colapinto? The team faces a pivotal decision that could impact their season significantly. If Alpine does decide to make a switch, they will need to do so strategically. Dropping a driver mid-season can create internal instability, which could affect the team's overall performance. However, if Doohan continues to struggle in the first few races, it may be in Alpine's best interest to act swiftly rather than prolong an inevitable change. Colapinto's background and rise in the junior categories suggest that he has the potential to make an impact in F1. His adaptability, speed, and racecraft have made him one of the most promising young drivers. Having Briatore as a supporter only strengthens his case, as the Italian executive has a history of making bold moves that shape the future of teams. On the other hand, Doohan's experience with Alpine's development program cannot be dismissed. He has spent significant time integrating into the team structure, understanding their processes, and working with their engineers. If Alpine chooses to stand by him, it could demonstrate a commitment to long-term driver development rather than making impulsive changes. Regardless of what decision Alpine ultimately makes, this internal battle is sure to keep fans and analysts engaged as the new season unfolds. The uncertainty surrounding the team's lineup only adds another layer of excitement to what is already shaping up to be a dramatic 2025 season. So, what do you think? Should Alpine stick with Doohan, or is it time to bring in Colapinto? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.